Hey everybody, Vaughn here with the Vonster vlog, and welcome to day 55 of a year of yoga. It is another beautiful day, not a cloud in the sky. I am so digging autumn this year. I have missed it. We're typically so busy this time of year with like conventions and stuff, and this is the first autumn off in like 10 years that I've really been able to just kind of like sit at home and enjoy the heck out of it. So, I mean, there was last autumn, but that was a very 2020 was weird. So, I'm just going to come here at the foot of my mat. Thank you guys so much for joining me here today. Let's practice some breathing. As we inhale, exhale, raise up onto our toes with our arms extended overhead. Inhale, come down, bending our knees. And exhale up. Come down. Try to bend as deep as you can into your knees while keeping your heels on the ground. And then come up as high as you can on your toes. Exhale, plugging your fingertips into the ceiling without bunching your shoulders up by your ears. Inhale. Make your exhale nice and loud. Like take up space. Don't feel like you have to be quiet. Woo! I started falling. That's okay. And you can become faster with your movements, and you can even swap out if you prefer inhaling on the up and then exhaling down. That's awesome, you guys. I'm going to come a little bit wider in my feet, bring my fingertips to where they are intertwined and pressing against my lower back, bringing my elbows nice and together as much as I can, rather. And again, it may not look like much is happening, but I can really feel it inside my arms. So I'm actually going to come here to the center of my mat with my feet about this wide, like wider than shoulder width for sure. Inhale, exhale, hinging at my hips. I'm going to fold forward and let my head and shoulders just hang. Now, I am unable to really get any sort of lift through my arms. So, let's use a strap. Also, you could use like a towel or a long sock or just whatever you have. And I'm going to see if I can do this with my hands at about as wide as my bum. So, about that far apart. Like if my hands are down beside me, they're just by my sides. Inhale, bending forward again, leaning forward. And then raising my hands, really trying to use my muscles to support and lift that up. And I actually feel like I need to go a little bit wider. There we go. And while I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep a straight back and engaging and extending through the top of my head. So I'm not just hunched over. I'm really, so that whenever we come back up, it's that same posture of like almost like a Wonder Woman kind of like chest lifted, heart open posturing. Now from here, I'm actually going to keep the strap nice and wide. There we go. And bring it around to behind me. And we can tuck our pelvis. I'm going to do this from the side as well so that you can see. I'm not just arching my back, though that is a nice stretch too. But if we tuck and engage our pelvis, it really isolates this stretch to the front of our pectoral muscles where those join into our armpits. And you may want to go a little wider. You could do this also with like a broom handle or something like that. Experimenting with having my elbows bent and straight. But again, tucking that pelvis under, really make sure we're not stretching our back here, we're stretching the front of our body. We can bring it around. Inhale, up and around through to behind. Then lifting this whole time, making sure that we're nice and engaged. And breathing. There we go. A few more repetitions of this. There we are. That's awesome, y'all. So from here, let's take one more big deep breath. Inhale up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Bring your hands to the mat or to some blocks or a chair. Just inhaling and exhaling, rocking back and forth. I have my feet about 2 fist widths apart from each other. And then let's walk our hands forward and step our feet back into a downward facing dog. And we can even try this motion of like pushing the floor away from us. It does bunch our shoulders up against around our ears, but just getting a feel for that in this position can let us be aware of if we're holding any tension there. Take it for a walk, walking our knees out so that we can really feel the stretches in our back body before we find a moment of stillness here. Come down into a plank. We will hold for, let's try for 5 breaths today. So use 1, 2, 3, 4. Last one, make it a good one. We lower our knees, very slowly lower our chests to the ground. Not using the assistance of our hands, let's lift into a cobra. Take a breath here. Inhale, and then use our hands to help push up. And we can stretch out our neck here in cobra. Now we can also bring our feet in towards our booty. Whoa, my hamstrings. I'd like to do this 10 times. So it's 5 and 6, 7. It's as though we're trying to bring the top of our head and the bottom of our feet together. 8, 9, and 10. Ooh, let's push up and through. Oh yeah, into child's pose. I'm going to do this with my knees spread nice and wide. And we'll just come here, relaxing through our wrists. My heart is pounding and I absolutely love it. I'm so wrapped up in a project right now that it took me until it's 5 p.m. We have not eaten anything except for breakfast today. Like, Randy's absorbed in his own project as well, which is just amazing. Like, I love him so much. He's so creative and brilliant in his way. And it breaks my heart because he doesn't see the value in being him. And he's like, and to me, he's the most amazing person in the world. So I wish that I could help him feel that, how I feel towards him. But, and I'm communicating this because there's many times that I'll feel like I don't have value, and Randy will be like, but you're my favorite person. Like, how can you not see these things? And so I'm sure that that goes for some of y'all watching this and following along as well. That just because you can't see it doesn't mean you're not a light in someone else's life. And it's not for us to make that decision whether or not, other people can see value in what we have to offer. I'm going to roll back up. Oh, that something popped. Into just kind of back on my, not quite on my hands and knees, but we can do some cat-cow here. It actually takes a lot of the pressure off of my wrists to be sitting back over my feet like this. But whenever I say that it's not up to us to decide, that, like, I don't get a say in if other people find value in what I do. Whether they do or whether they don't, that's entirely up to them. But whether they do or whether they don't find value in what I'm doing does not dictate whether or not what I'm doing has value to me. And that's something that I need to remind myself of quite frequently. Oh, really getting deep into that cat. Before we scoop through into this pose. So I oftentimes tell myself when I get caught up in the negative, like, downward spiral of comparing myself to others, because I always feel like by that ruler I always come up short, and that's fine. That's for another day. But I often tell myself when I find myself in that downward spiral that it's a flower does not worry about the other flowers, it just blooms. And that same thing could be said for whether or not, we feel like we have value, or if other people feel we have value. It's not up to me as a flower for if somebody else thinks I smell good. I just need to keep being me, keep being my flower, keep blooming, and doing as the flower do. So I don't know. I thought I'd share that with you all today. So I'm going to come back now. Oh, something else popped. Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a couple of full cat-cows just because apparently I need it. If stuff's still snapping and crackling and popping, I don't feel like I'm as warmed up as I could be. So just kind of undulating and moving through some cat-cow. Now we'll turn our toes under and push up. Ooh-wee, into downward facing dog again. And now from here, I'm going to move my left foot to in the center, and I'm going to lift my right leg up and back, and then open it up to the side. And then I'm going to bring it down and bring that knee forward, and then back up, and then forward, and back up, forward for a third time. Let's try to get 5 on each side. Back up. Oh, last one. There we go. Before, back up, back open, and back down. Ooh. I'm going to come onto my knees again. Oh, That's not a workout for the upper body, then I'm not sure what is. Ooh, goodness. Just taking a couple of peaceful breaths here. Letting my heart rate come back down, embracing the invigorating challenge of whatever that was we just did, because we gotta do it again on the other side. Just extending my arms overhead, getting a little bit of a, let's do a little bit of a back bend here. Oh, and bring our hands down in some nice teacups or even figure eights. Waking our wrists up. Maybe some undulating snake arms. Alright. Coming back now to a bit of a tabletop or cat cow. Alright. Brace ourselves. We've got this. Inhale and exhale into downward facing dog. I'm going to take just a moment here. I'm going to bring my right foot in, lift my left foot up, open it towards the back. Just shifting that foot over. Inhale, exhale, bringing it down. Inhale up. Inhale up and once more. Ooh, really up there. And before coming back up, ooh, and opening that back up. Really letting that foot hang behind us. Before coming down, back into downward facing dog. Now let's undulate down to our knees. Oh my goodness. Where's my heart rate at? 86. I don't think that's accurate. My heart's pounding. So now from here, I'm just going to shift onto my booty. Because I wanted to do something a little bit more challenging today. As far as like, I really want to build strength and endurance. And just really get the blood flowing. Now it's not like gross hot all the time, I'm much more inclined to like risk getting sweaty. Whereas if it's like hot, I'm like, don't make me move. I don't want to move. Like, please, oh God. So now that it's nice and cool out, it's actually really nice to get the blood flowing and get heated up. So I'm just sitting on the very bottom of my butt. So I've actually lifted the old booty up out of the way so my sit bones are directly on the mat. And it may be helpful to you to sit on a bolster or a folded blanket or another yoga mat that's been folded up, just to kind of raise your seat up a little bit. So I'm going to flex my feet and start just pulling the taffy of my lower back and my sides as I lean one way and then the other. And as we do this, I'm going to start hinging forward at my hips to bring my upper body closer to the ground. Until, let's hold on to both, a hand on each ankle. I've lifted my feet off the ground just a little bit so that I can make some foot circles with my toes. And this is really just something to keep my mind off of how much I'm stretching through my legs. Feel free always to come up out of it if you feel something cramping, maybe massage out some Charlie horses. It just, if your body is sending you signals, you should listen to them. Now, and as I say that, I'm also, kind of listening to them, working out the little cramp or kink or whatever, and then moving back into it because I want to show my body it's okay to be here. But you have to listen to your body to have that kind of conversation where you can be like, no, it's okay, body. And your body's like, no, actually, it's not. So, I mean, listen to yourself for sure and honor that. But I am here personally to find the boundary of what is comfortable and what is currently possible and pushing it. Might be in millimeters, but if we're persistent, we will make progress. Yeah. Reach and grab the toes and ball of my foot on one side. And really feel the stretch through my inner thigh, even across the back of my upper back and shoulders. Get a nice stretch. Before I walk my fingers over and reach, holding on to my foot as well on this side. And I like to push my foot into my hand and get that nice stretch along the back of my scapula and my deltoid. Almost the connection between my triceps and my lats too. I don't know if those are directly connected, but there's something being stretched there. And now just reaching forward, holding flat. We can hold on to our feet, or we could bring our elbows or hands to a block to bring the ground up to us. And I really like pressing my hands into the ground and lifting forward and up through my chest. So it's not a pulling myself down and over, it's a pulling myself up and out. And just doing some circles with my toes, or flexing and pointing. Is doing something else other than just lowering into the stretch can be so helpful in keeping my body from seizing up. I don't know if that'll work for you as well, but it's an idea. And again, that was just the thing to cut through the afternoon brain fog. Going to bring my feet together into a cobbler pose. Oh, stretches. Similar but different enough that something else is snapping and crackling and popping now too. Yeah, having the wide legged forward fold really stretches the inside of my legs. This really stretches the outside. Hello, toe beans. Pulling the taffy of our lower back. Before we come back up. I think that's it for today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'd love to hear about how your day's going or how your yoga was today down in the comments. And let me know if you have any ideas or things that you're interested in pursuing over the next couple of weeks to see if we can work that into our yoga practice. But this was, gosh, first off, I can't believe that we've done this for 55 days now consecutively. This is every day is a personal record for how long I have actually maintained any sort of consistent personal yoga practice. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. I think I already said that, but y'all fill me with gratitude. What can I say? Until next time, y'all, keep on keeping on. Bye.